Hey guys, this is Geoff Ulrich here with LineMovement.com, bringing you another PGA Tour betting preview this week for the event of AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. And this year we won't have amateurs playing in this one. This is typically the event where you get a lot of the big names on camera during the early portions of the week, and the pros are playing with them. It's a 54-hole cut here most seasons as well, but it's going to be a little bit different format, just the pros playing here this year. So we'll get into all this as the video goes on, but we'll also talk about course details, the format, the favorites, the betting favorites, who's here, who's not, and then we'll get into my favorite picks for the week as well, the outright picks, and any other markets that might look interesting. Let's start by getting into the course though. Like I said, there's only going to be two courses in play here, Pebble Beach and Spyglass Hill this year. Now, most of the play is going to be on Pebble Beach. We'll see Spyglass Hill rotated in the first 2 days. This year, the cut will take place after 36 holes. So normally, we'd see 3 courses in play. The cut would take place after 54 holes, and the pros would battle it out on Pebble Beach on Sunday. This year, it's going to be completely different. Be a normal cut, a full field event, and then the pros will all battle it out on Pebble Beach on the weekend. So more Pebble Beach, which is nice. Pebble Beach sets up as a shorter par 72. It's obviously one of the more classic venues on tour. It's the one everybody knows. Tiger came here in 2000, dominated. It just hosted a US Open as well in 2019. So what are some of the features of Pebble Beach that we should be focusing on for betting? Well, again, we're switching green surfaces this week. We're going from Bermuda to POA greens, so that's important. These West Coast venues typically have a little bit different green styles, and it takes some of the players a little bit of time to get used to. POA greens, especially at Pebble Beach, some bumpy greens you'll see. Again, you'll see a lot of missed short putts here, and typically we do want to emphasize players who have good records on these sorts of greens. We also have really small greens in play here, and that might be the bigger factor. You're going to see players miss a lot of greens in regulation here. Typically, the average green in regulation percentages at Pebble Beach, typically a lot shorter than the tour averages. We also have a course here that features a lot of dog legs, not a lot of big, long driving shoots. It's a non-driver course. You're going to see players club down a lot off the tee, and it really de-emphasizes off the tee play. What does that mean? It means more emphasis on approach play, more emphasis on around the green play as well. We typically see a lot of creative players like Phil Mickelson, Jordan Spieth, Jason Day. These guys are kind of really solid at getting up and down around the greens. They typically really like Pebble Beach, and that's been the case here. Phil's obviously a multi-time winner. Spieth is one here as well. Day's finished in the top 5 here 4 years in a row. So those are the types of players we're targeting. We've got guys in good shape with their approach game, no doubt. We got small greens to hit, but we don't need to worry too much about off the tee play here at Pebble Beach. We definitely want to target some players who maybe have some good track records on POA greens. Let's get into the players, though. Who's actually going to be here this week? And Patrick Cantlay next in the betting odds, plus 1,000. He's coming off a really good American Express performance as well. He's deserving to be in the second favorite here. A little bit more value we're getting with Cantlay. And then behind him, we got Paul Casey and Daniel Berger sitting around plus 2,000 in the betting odds. Casey is really interesting. He's played really well at Pebble Beach over the last few years. Lost out in a close one to Phil Mickelson a couple years ago. Then we got Daniel Berger, who was T5 here last year. He's playing really good golf. If I decide with one of those two, I might lean with Berger. He's just a little bit more explosive young player, but realistically, you're getting pretty good odds on both those players. And if you're going to start a betting card and wanted to target one of the favorites, I'd probably start with one of those guys. Let's talk a little bit about trends before we get into my actual picks, though. One trend that has been pretty consistent here is that winners here have typically had a high finish at Pebble Beach in one of their recent years. So over the past 3 years, they've had a T16 or better. And this trend has really gone back a long ways, all the way to 2000. We've seen players come here off a high finish at Pebble Beach in a previous season, a T15 a couple years ago, and then they come here and they kind of blow the doors off and grab the trophy. So really looking for players, emphasizing players who have a fairly solid recent history at Pebble Beach. Something to keep in mind this week, because that trend has been one of the stronger betting trends we've seen on tour. Let's get into guys I'm targeting, though. Guys I really like this week. I think we're going to get some good value on a couple names here. And I want to start off by talking about Jason Day. Now, Jason Day sitting around plus 3,000 in the betting odds. And I think you're getting a really solid price here. You got a player coming in off 2 missed cuts, but we really got to dive in and look about what was happening with those missed cuts at Jason Day. Didn't look that good at the Farmers, but at the Waste Management Phoenix Open last week, he actually gained strokes on his approaches in both of his rounds, gained plus 2.5 strokes overall on his approaches over 2 rounds. And again, the only reason he missed the cut in Phoenix was because he just didn't putt. And we've seen Jason Day get hot and cold with the putter over the last year. But if it does get hot, then, you know, this will change in a hurry. And obviously he likes the POA greens at Pebble Beach. Like I mentioned, his record at Pebble Beach is fantastic. He's got 4 top 5s here over the last 4 years, excuse me. He just loves this event. He likes getting around the greens here. I think Jason Day is in a really good spot here, and I think that because he's missed 2 cuts coming in, we're getting a better than normal price on him for an outright bet. Next in the betting odds for me is going to be Francesco Molinari. You're actually probably only going to be able to get him around plus 2,800, so even a slightly lower odds than Jason Day, but it's a player coming off a couple really solid starts. Molinari looks to be back. He had a year-long slump, but now he's put together 2 top 10s in a row, gained strokes on approach in both of those starts. He's got a really nice around the green game too, which I think is going to help him at Pebble. He was T16 here in the US Open, and I think we're getting a fair enough price here to take a shot on Molinari. If the weather gets a little, iffy or anything too, remember, this is a guy who won the Open Championship. He's well suited to taking care of the ball in poor weather as well. So I think the conditions could also favor Molinari. I like the fact he was T16 here in the US Open, and I don't mind taking him at this price. I slightly prefer Molinari over Jordan Spieth, who's a little bit lower in the betting odds. I'll take Molinari, take a little bit better value there. Next guy I want to talk about, Alex Noren. This is a guy I targeted at the Farmers. He opened with a 64 there. Another fantastic scrambler, a good poor weather player. He's won the Scottish Open before. He's T32 here at Pebble Beach last season. I think Noren's playing pretty well. And again, if the weather gets bad, it gets a little iffy, the scoring stays low, or the scoring stays high, excuse me. I like Alex Noren. He's sitting around plus 6,600. You can take an each way here. I think he's playing some pretty good golf, and I really like the fact that his short game and putting could really even be more in play this week with the poor weather. Next, Peter Malnati, plus 7,000 or better. I think this is another good player to take an each way on. He's trending very well. His approaches have been heating up now over his last 3 events. He was T10 at the Farmers. He also put in a T14 at the Sony Open. And he was also T11 at this event last season. It's a really strong putter. You can get hot with it. And he really fits in the kind of mold of veteran players who just kind of come out of nowhere. You know, you're thinking Ted Potter Jr., you're thinking Vaughn Taylor. These are all previous winners here in the past 5 years. Peter Malnati can really get hot with that putter, and he kind of fits in that mold of player here for me. So I like the odds we're getting on him. He's trending really well. Let's talk about a little bit longer odds, and I'll do these guys a little bit quicker, but there are a few triple-digit plays I think you should take a look at here. Michael Thompson, plus 10,000 or better on an each way, I really like. He's another really strong putter. His around the green game is trending well. He was T10 at Pebble Beach 2 years ago. Seems to have found a lot of confidence after gaining a win at the 3M Open last year. Kyle Stanley's another player sitting around the same in odds, and I really like Kyle Stanley for a top 20 this week. You can probably get Stanley around plus 300, plus 350 in the top 20 market. His approaches are really trending well. He's made 3 cuts in a row now. I like this course for Kyle Stanley. It's a little bit shorter. He's not a long hitter off the tee, but his approaches are really firing, and his around the green game looks good too. So I think Kyle Stanley could come in here, put in a good week. You might want to think about an each way at the triple digits, but I really like him in the top 20 market as well. Let's end by talking about a real YOLO play. Let's go deep into the odds. Sung Yul No. Yes, now you know, people. Plus 25,000 or better. You can take him on an each way. Maybe target him for a top 20 as well. It's a player with a really good around the green game too. Obviously had to take some time off being a South Korean for some military service. He's kind of worked his way back on tour, but he's looked good. His around the green game has looked sharp, if anything else, lately. And again, he's got a pretty good record at Pebble Beach over his career here. He's played here multiple times, got some top finishes. And I don't mind that. At these odds, you just got to invest a little, and you get that experience with Sung Yul No. That's pretty much it for this week, guys. Make sure you check out the next video that's going to come up on your screen from the Line Movement YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button for us if you could, and smash that like button on your way out. Good luck with the bets, guys. Make sure you check out my betting article on livemovement.com. It's going to be up later in the week where I'll go over my final thoughts, my final betting card as well. Thanks a lot for checking out the video. We'll talk to you again soon.